What is up, dudes? It is your excellent friend, the brand, here from Taking Back DFS and Fan Warrior Nation. Want to thank you very much for joining me. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that good stuff. Head on over to Fantasy Warrior Nation. Check out my DraftKings tip-off preview. I'm going to go ahead and bring you my Fanduel preview here, if I can get the right window up. There we go. So I want to thank you very much for joining me. Of course, interact with me. Follow me on Twitter at TakingBackDFS or comment on the video, and we'll get to chatting as long as you don't try to troll me too hard. I'll go ahead and interact with you. Now, taking a look at FanDuel over here. You know what? To full disclosure, I have not dipped into FanDuel in months. As you can see, my balance here. So yeah, gonna go ahead and make a deposit here shortly, but we'll kind of take a look at some pricing and some roster construction here on FanDuel real quick. There's a really sweet free roll that they have going on for opening night. So if nothing else, go ahead and go over and bite on that. Now, key differences in pricing here, not a whole lot. The guys that are priced up at each, it's all relative to the site, basically. FanDuel tends to run a little bit pricier than DraftKings, like their minimum salary is a little bit raised. And so we just have to kind of take into account for that. But we can basically do the same type of deal here. Now, if you checked out the DraftKings video that I did this morning, you'll know that I'm really high on a couple of guys. As far as down low here, as far as opening up value goes, there's a couple ways we can attack it. Now, we got to be careful with this value here because it is a short slate. So, like I mentioned in the DraftKings video, the margin for error is a lot slimmer. So we definitely want to take advantage and try to get as many guys that we feel safe and feel comfortable with as possible. So there's not a whole lot of like cross-pollination and all that stuff, right? So first and foremost here, like I mentioned on the DraftKings video, Damian Jones. It's tough, with FanDuel as well because we only have this one center position to work with. And we only have, we just don't have a lot of, like, double position people. Like, if any, like, there's just not with the way it's set up. Now that I recall, everyone's just kind of like one position or another. You can't really wang dangle like you can on the other sites. So I'm going to take a little bit different approach with this one, okay? I'm going to go ahead and lock in Embiid here. We're paying up for him, yes, but just kind of the reality of it is I don't think there's anybody on that Boston team that can match up with his physicalness. We're talking about most of the time he's going to end up with guys like Aaron Bynes on him and Al Horford, which, all respect to those guys, they just don't have the size to match up with Embiid. So I really, really love throwing him in there. And we can also lock in some value here on the other side of the tip here. Now, I mentioned in the DraftKings video, of course, Russell Westbrook is out. So that's definitely definitely kind of sad, right? But if we're looking at opening up value here as far as guys, that's going to leave basically at the point guard position for OKC, Dennis Schroeder, which I mentioned in the DraftKings video, I love playing him. I think he's going to get a lot of playing time because I think OKC is going to want to keep their best guys in pretty much at all times, right? Well, if we look here, Schroeder's not listed as a point guard. He's listed as the shooting guard. So basically what that would tell me here is that I think we can go, I already mentioned in the other video, I really like Schroeder. I really liked Thompson. I think this opens up some opportunity for Felton. I don't see a huge game coming out of him, but for 3,600, he should see significant minutes tonight. Schroeder is going to need a rest at some point. They have a lot of options at the shooting guard, like at the 2 position here. A. Bryans is also someone that I would look at as well. The only reason why I say not to play A. Bryans on here is because we already kind of have those 2 spots locked up there. But if you'd rather go a little bit different, if you don't feel good about Felton, I think A. Bryans gets at least 20 minutes off the bench because someone's got to come in and run against Golden State. So I'm having a really tough decision, especially here on FanDuel, deciding between those 2 dudes. So if you do that, that opens up your point guard spot to be able to do quite a bit with that there, of course. It opens you up for Steph if you want Steph. Of course, kind of defeats the purpose if you don't have Clay in there, I don't think, because I think Clay is going to potentially have a bigger game than Schroeder. So this is a nice little 4-player core here. It doesn't really leave us with a whole lot to work with from there. But, maybe we throw Felton in. I think we have to do kind of a true, kind of studs and duds with the FanDuel build. So yeah, we're going for it. How I really liked Paul George in my other video as well. And then from there, I think we can kind of fill in the blanks. There's some opportunity here for some other guys. Like I said, Kevin Looney should see some time at the 5 tonight. They've got Jordan Bell at straight center. I just don't know if the minutes are really going to be there to kind of justify that price tonight. If we are going to punt at center or pay down at center, I think Jones is the better play overall. But, that's just kind of one of those things. And then again, there's also a case to be made for Steven Adams, if he does suit up. I just really like the opportunity that he could get, because it's kind of one of those things where I think Oklahoma City is going to want their best guys out there on the team to contend with Golden State, and that's really 3 dudes. That's Adams, that's Paul George, and that's also Dennis Schroeder that we see here. So on FanDuel, you have a couple decisions to make, but it shouldn't be too difficult. Run some different options and see what we can come up with on the board, especially if you're playing GPPs. I'm always a big fan of just kind of opening up your range to be able to capitalize on value and low ownership. I think we'll see that with guys like A. Bryans and like Damian Jones. I think we'll see a lot less ownership geared towards those guys. But anywho, that is my FanDuel look for the day. I want to thank you very much for joining me here. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that great stuff. Also, while you're at it, head on over to Fan Warrior Nation and get yourself a membership. You can get access to our Slack, all the articles that we have coming out each day for each sport. Try to keep you guys updated with all the best plays, and of course, we'll have additional information as to how to fill out your roster tonight as well, if you go ahead and head on over there and get yourself a membership. So once again, I want to thank you very much for joining me here. And until next time, this is your excellent friend, The Brand, saying good luck out there, and I will see you in the next video.